Behind me is my 2007 Toyota Tundra. Now this is my personal mobile detail unit, guys. This is what I actually use when I'm out working on customers' vehicles. It's either this or my little transit van, but this is typically my go-to. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you how to do a complete decontamination wash, get this thing back to square one, full deal, using 0 buckets. Just by using the right combination of chemicals, my foam cannon, all that kind of good stuff, we're gonna completely decontaminate this thing. And then I'm trying to decide, am I just gonna polish it out? Am I going to, I've been considering wrapping it, and I just don't know if I'm gonna go that route. But let's go ahead and take a look at it right now. I'll show you guys its current status. Now, as you can see, I mean, again, this is my work truck, right? So guys, it gets neglected. As much as I hate to say that, it does. Sometimes I'm just too busy to, I'm out doing jobs all the time, and this thing just gets kind of the last item on the totem pole here. As you can see, the plastics are all kind of oxidized and getting kind of beat up. So we'll be addressing that as well eventually. Wheels, tires, obviously quite dirty on the wheels. The underside, inside the fender well, quite dirty. The wheels themselves, quite dirty. Again, this is that satin black finish. These are method race wheels. And these are kind of a pain to keep clean. But when you neglect them, it gets even worse. So we will be addressing that as well. And I'll show you guys a super cool trick. Just a really inexpensive product that makes getting into your wheels like this so much easier, so stay tuned for that. I'm really excited for that. Now my little rocker panel steps here, again, oxidized and just dirty and built up. Let's see here, going around the sides. The truck's not perfect, right, guys? We have, from the camper shell, it's got some dents and dings. This thing's got over 300,000 miles on it. I absolutely love this truck. I'm never gonna get rid of this thing. So guys, also, when you look at my back bumper, you can see the plastic is completely oxidized. Now I've coated this before with Cerakote's trim coat, and it works fantastic. The reason this is so beat up, again, is, as I'm washing, things are kind of, sometimes chemicals will fall out and lay on here. It's no fault of the trim coat. It's just wear and tear and not being upkept the way it should be, just because, again, it's my work truck, right? I'm always out working on it. The white color hides a lot of the dirt, so it doesn't look bad while I'm up at a customer's house, but it's definitely not as good as I want. And this back bumper, as you can see, this piece is loose. I'm going to be replacing both the front and rear bumpers. Guys, I'm super excited because I've always wanted to upgrade the bumpers on this truck. I wanted to go with a little bit more of an aggressive kind of off-roady look. I just didn't want to spend the money because some of those bumpers get quite expensive. I found a company called Hook Road. They make awesome components for your trucks, right? So what I got from them is a front and rear bumper. They also have awesome racks. I just didn't need a rack. They also make a really cool kind of bed cage. I really wanted that, but since I run the camper shell, I didn't go that route. I just want the front and rear bumper, but they look super cool, so I'm excited to get those on there. Again, I've always stayed away from it because they're super expensive. This, I got a front and rear bumper for under 1,500 bucks. Guys, that's cheaper than OEM for sure. So even if you bump into something and you wanted to upgrade your vehicle's look, this is an absolutely cool way to do it. Hook Road, so I'm excited to put those on as well. So step one though, guys, let's go ahead and start with the decon wash. To do that, I'm going to be starting off with a product from Geon. I actually just started stocking their products in my store online, detailersupply.com, DTLR. Now, I'm not carrying the whole entire line. I'm just going with the products that I personally use from them, so that I can offer those to you guys. And if you want to get them, then they'll be there for you. First product I'm going to be using is Restart Wash from Geon. This stuff is super cool because you only need 2 ounces in your foam cannon, and then you can actually also use this as a wash soap in your wash bucket. Now, when you smell this stuff, it's a little bit stinky. It's got iron removing capabilities to it, and you can smell that. Not as bad as a specific iron remover at all, but when you smell it directly from the bottle, it's pretty potent. But once you're in a foam cannon, it's not bad at all. You're just diluting it down. All right, really quickly, guys, I just finished editing this video, so obviously we're gonna get back into it, but I wanted to address one thing really quickly and make it very, very clear. In today's video, I'm using Restart Wash from Geon, which is an acidic cleaner. Acidic meaning it's a 6 on the pH scale, neutral 7, so it's just barely on the acidic side. But typically on a pre-foam, pre-wash type of a thing that you just spray on, let it dwell, and then rinse off, then refoam and go in for your contact wash, you would use a lot of times you can use a higher alkaline product, something like Kokemi Super Foam or Active Foam. There's a bunch of other ones out there as well. But a higher alkaline is also a fantastic way of doing it. It's usually better for different types of dirt contamination. But again, because I wanted the iron removing capabilities and all that kind of stuff, and also lubrication, the restart wash from Geon was the choice that I went with for today. But again, you can do pre-foam with something with a higher alkaline, foam it on, let that dwell, then go in, rinse it off, then re-foam and start the whole process from there. If I wanted to, I could have started like that and then went to the restart wash. But again, I'm trying to conserve time and water. So that's why I went with that route. All right, guys, so step number one, I'm going to take the restart wash in my foam cannon. Again, this is the MJJC Foam Cannon S version 3. I have these back in stock on my website, so if you're interested, they are there. I'm going to take it. I'm going to foam the whole vehicle down, and we're going to let this dwell for a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes. So as you guys can see, the foaming capability of this stuff, the restart wash is fantastic, especially when paired with the MJJC. Just does a phenomenal job, even with just 2 ounces in a 1,000 milliliter bottle. I'm gonna make sure to spray in here as well because we're gonna be coming back at that here shortly. Okay guys, now while that is dwelling on the paint, I'm gonna take my long handled brush here. This one's from MacShine. I'm gonna go in and agitate all of the wheel wells, get all that stuff loosened up so that when I go in to dress it, it'll adhere properly. I still have a little bit of soap and water in my foam cannon. I'm gonna leave that in there. I'm actually gonna dilute that down a little bit more for the next step. But first, let's go ahead and hit those wheel wells. So again, guys, you just want to make sure you're loosening everything up, getting everything off this plastic as much as possible, so that when you go in to dress this and make everything look really good, that's one of the kind of key things a lot of people miss out on just on the DIY side is not addressing these wheel wells. And you know, you can make your car look perfect, but if these wheel wells are still all dirty looking, it really affects the overall appearance of it. So make sure you clean these out and get them all good. As always, I'll have all these products linked down in the description for you guys so you can get them easily. But yeah, this is an easy way to go ahead and do this. Now, again, the restart wash from Geon is a pH of 6, so slightly acidic. So it's gonna help to break down all that contamination that's on the surface of your vehicle, especially if it's ceramic coated. It's going to help break that stuff down so that you can get your hydrophobic properties back. Sometimes stuff just sits on them, on that coating, and it affects the hydrophobic properties. So using something like this, it's a slightly acidic pH, will help break that stuff down so you get all the results back. Guys, here's a little pro tip for you. After you're done using your brushes, hit them with the pressure washer. Get all that dirt back out of them. If you do it right after you use it, you'll save time, right? You don't have to go back and hit everything. Just do it as you're going and you'll be good to go. Okay, now as I said, the car has been dwelling now, and we're gonna go back in. Again, this stuff does have some iron removing capabilities. It's not turning it purple. It doesn't do that kind of thing, but it will help to dissolve some of the iron and make it easier to remove. I'm still gonna be doing a full-on iron decontamination on this as well. But just so you know, both sides, this stuff does have the capability to help it when it's, at least when it's not too bad. Now, as I said, I'm doing this with no buckets, right? So I have my microfiber towels here. These are what I use as my wash mitts. I like doing that because I'm able to switch, little fly, excuse me. I'm able to switch sides, right? And keep it nice and clean. I'm not recontaminating the water, potentially spreading it all over the car. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna throw them onto the vehicle, and then we're gonna foam it lightly again. Again, this is all that's left in the foam cannon. I'm just gonna add more water. So we're not gonna get a lot of foam here, but we're just adding more lubrication. And then when we foam it, we're gonna be adding all that lubrication onto those as well, so we're not using the bucket. So just make sure you wanna actually saturate those towels so that they have the lubrication you're looking for. Alrighty guys, time for the contact wash. I'm just using microfiber towels. I'm using the longer piled side. The reason I do that is because then it's able to capture more dirt within these fibers. So here we go. And again, I will be flipping this towel as I go. So little areas that are, I mean, you can see guys, this thing's been pretty beat up over time. It just sits outside of my shop when it's not in use. So not the ideal situation, right? This thing, I should be taking better care of it, to be perfectly honest with you, but it is what it is. So we got that hood and then down low, right? Because it went down low, that's usually the dirtiest part. We're gonna flip this towel now. We don't wanna recontaminate the next area with all that dirt. And I always make sure to get into these spots pretty well, right? I'm really sticking the towel in there. You can also use a brush in there, which is what I would normally do, to be perfectly honest with you. But honestly, just as I'm filming this, I forgot to do that. So I will go back with a brush. Okay guys, I've got it all prepped now, right? All my contact wash is done. We're gonna go ahead and rinse it off. All right guys, now I'm gonna go ahead and address the wheels. We still have more to do with the paint, but I wanna step to the wheels really quickly. I told you that there's a new product that I've been using to really work out the intricacies of these types of wheels. Usually I use an auto fiber barrel blade. I absolutely love that thing. You're able to bend it, get it all into the barrel of the wheel. The thing's awesome. You can remove the sleeve on it, make it for easy cleaning. But when you don't want it to be removed, that's got a button closure so it does not slip off. I absolutely love that thing. Additionally, I also offer my wheel and tire brush, and that thing's great. It's a really soft brush. You can clean up this face of the wheel really easily with that. Also love that. But for the intricacies of this wheel, let me go ahead and show you guys up close. And as you can see, it's got all these little windows. I wouldn't be able to fit, I'm not worried about the barrel of the wheel. It's too deep in there. So, but it's got all these little spots here, and also this lip. You can see water collecting right there. So it's got that lip, and I want to get behind all that. And in order to do that, I'm going to be using this guy here, guys. This is also from Auto Fiber. It's called I think it's called the Knit Mitt. 300 GSM, 80-20 blend microfiber, and you're able to get in to all the intricacies super easily just with your fingers. So along with these knit mitts, I'm going to be using Kokemi's Magic Wheel Cleaner. I'm gonna rinse the wheels off again, spray this on. You wanna do this out of direct sunlight. You don't want the wheel to be hot, but I'm gonna spray this on. It's going to break down all the dirt, contamination, brake dust, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna let it dwell for 2 to 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna go in, add a little bit more product, and then go in with my mitt here and agitate everything before I rinse it away. You always wanna make sure to shake up your Magic Wheel Cleaner just a little bit beforehand, just make sure everything's all blended well. You go ahead and, again, just do a quick rinse. I'm gonna try and get this out of here, right? I don't want, that's just gonna dilute the product too much, so I'm gonna try and get that out as much as I can. Now we're gonna go ahead and spray this on. And I don't have to go crazy because we're gonna let this dwell. You just wanna make sure you get good coverage. So these wheels have been, not this wheel in particular, but the other ones, especially the rear driver's side, has been hit with hard water from sprinklers at my shop. So we're gonna have to deal with that here also, but for now I'm just showing you guys the wheel cleaning process. So we're gonna let that dwell. Remember, 2 to 5 minutes, I'm gonna move on to the next ones. One thing to note, guys, with these, you can put a regular glove on under this, you know, a basic vinyl glove to keep your hands clean. Then put this over the top. You don't have to worry about the chemical penetrating through and getting to your hands. Okay, guys, so it's been about 3-4 minutes so far. So as you can see, everything's all kind of settled in now. I'm gonna add a little bit more product, just a light spritz. Okay, now I'm gonna take my gloves and I'm gonna get in there and agitate all of this. Again, because the intricacies of this wheel, these little, the little lip and all that kind of stuff. This is a phenomenal way to do this. And you can obviously, you can pair this with your other methods. But again, with certain wheels, these little gloves are invaluable to me. So as you can see, I'm just using my palm to get the whole face of the wheel. Just laying it all flat and getting in there. And then I can use my fingers to get into each little spot here and get these all agitated, get the dirt loosened up, and then it'll all rinse away nicely. I don't know if you guys can see, but it is actually turning purple. There's some rust buildup on these, and Magic Wheel Cleaner does have iron removers in it. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse my hand just to keep the glove clean. Okay, good to go. And now we're gonna go ahead and rinse the wheel off. All right, guys, now that the wheels have been addressed, obviously you can do all your prep work to the tires as well before you dress them. These ones aren't bad. I actually do that quite often, so I'm just gonna go straight to dressing these after everything's all done. But right now that that's done, I need to go back to the paint work, and we're gonna be using an actual iron remover. This isn't something that I do all the time. A lot of times I'll go straight to a clay treatment, but I want to show you guys the full process. This actually doesn't need to be clayed. It feels really smooth. I just want to get all the contamination out of it from all the fallout. So we're going to be using this, and then I take that back. I'll use this and then I'll assess it and see if it needs to be clayed. We might clay it still, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lightly rinse the vehicle again, just get it, some water on it. Then I'm gonna spray it down with reactive rust remover and spray it down, let it dwell. It'll bleed out all the iron contaminants and get it all clean. Now, does this dilute the product, guys? Yes, it does. The reason I do it this way though is I'm a mobile detailer and I want to make sure that I'm not leaving this stuff on in too high of a concentration for too long, and especially sometimes I'm working in direct sunlight. So I don't always use this, and that's the reason, is because you know, sometimes it's not the most ideal situation for me to use it. But in this case, I want to show you guys the process. So here we go. So I already start seeing it starting to bleed out a little bit, turn everything purple, start running down. That's just breaking down all the iron contamination. Look at that. Guys, it is speckled. This panel was clean, and it is no longer clean looking. It looks completely speckled. Again, that's the activation, that's the reaction that the iron remover is having on the panel. Looks like that door wasn't too bad, just some of the higher spots, but overall the door wasn't too bad. Same thing with this door. The back panel's definitely got some spots that are bleeding out now. But that hood, man, that one was really going crazy. So we're gonna let that dwell for a little bit, and then we're gonna go back in for a contact wash using a microfiber towel. I'm just gonna saturate this so that it has some, so that it's all wet, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit it really quickly. All right, guys, so here you go. Again, here's just my towel. I'm using one towel to go around this whole car right now because, as you remember, we've already done a pre-wash on this thing, right? So I'm not picking up any more dirt. We're just using the towel to kind of help wipe away all the contamination. As you can see, that's all fallout that's been breaking down, and now we're just wiping it out. So everything's coming out really, really nicely. That's why I like Kochemi reactive rust remover. I don't like it because it smells, but they honestly all smell, and this one just does such a good job of dissolving everything out. As you can see, that reaction was pretty crazy. So yeah, for an iron remover, if you're gonna be using one, I do recommend the good old Kochemi reactive rust remover. Now, after any iron remover treatment, you want to make sure you rinse it thoroughly. You want to make sure you get all that product off. So here we go. Alrighty, guys, now I just went over the whole vehicle and looked at it, and it looks really, really good, but there are some spots that need some clay. So I'm going to be using the Ultra Clay Scrubber from the Rag Company. I absolutely love these things. They make life so much easier, and they do a phenomenal job. I did a whole video on these, so I'll link that up here for you guys so you can check that out. But for today's purposes, there's two things I want to talk about, guys, when you're claying your car. If you have a black car and you're not talking about wanting to polish it afterwards, I probably wouldn't go with this. I would go with a specific natural clay, really, really, really fine grade, and go over it so you don't run the risk of marring the paint. These should be fine. I've done cars and not had to polish it afterwards, but I use a dedicated clay lube as well, or a spray detailer will work. That'll add the lubrication that you need for this. For my purposes though, this is gonna be getting polished afterwards. So what I do to save time, the car's been prepped, right? All the dirt, everything's off of there. We just need to do the clay treatment now. I am actually just going to be using a foam on this car. I'm gonna foam the car back down. That's gonna add the lubrication that I need to do a quick clay treatment and saves the time. So again, we're gonna start off with pre-wash, contact wash, rinse it down, iron remover, then clay, then we'll do our final steps, dry it up, and all that kind of good stuff. Now, when I'm using a standard soap, especially a foam-on soap that I'm gonna use as lubrication for my clay treatment, I like to use something with a ton of lubrication in it. GSF is one of my favorites. That's my kind of go-to just all around if I'm doing my maintenance washes. Kochemi GSF, fantastic product. If I want a little bit more lubrication, and I don't know, guys, if this actually has more lubrication or not, it's just anecdotally, the way it feels to me, it does. Geon Bathe. I absolutely love this stuff. Tons of lubrication in it. So we're going to be going ahead and filling that up into our MJJC Foam Cannon Pro V2, and then spraying it on there and then claying. We are all set, guys. I'm actually going to spray my clay pad as well. Then we're going to go ahead and spray the whole car. Again, I'm not going for coverage in order to clean it. I'm just wanting to add the lubrication. So we can do this pretty quickly. Okay, now that that is done, the car is all prepped. This is a brand new clay pad, so I want to start it off on the windows just to kind of activate it and just kind of get any buildup off of it, right? So we're going to start on the windows, and then we'll move on to the paint right afterwards. So good to go. And again, no pressure here, guys. I'm just going over the surface lightly, just making sure. I mean, you can feel right after it. You can feel what contamination's been pulled out, if there was any kind of rough surface, and then you can also see it as it's working, pulling things out of the paint. So there may be certain spots that don't come out during a wash, but then as you're doing this, you'll notice like, holy moly, that pulled that out right away, no problem. All right, guys, now that the whole car has been rinsed down, everything's been done, right? All the decontamination steps have been done. Pre-wash, contact wash, iron remover, clay treatment, the whole 9 yards, everything's good to go. So now that we've done that, it's time to dry the vehicle. Grab your favorite drying towel. Mine is, especially on something this size, is going to be the Auto Fiber Mega Knot. It's basically the Dreadnought, but it's just a giant one on a vehicle this size. I love that thing. So I'm gonna grab that, dry that down, and then let's go ahead and swap out those bumpers. All right, guys, so I just went and grabbed the towel. If you're unfamiliar with this towel, let me show you what I mean and why it has the name Mega Knot, because it is absolutely huge. Huge, 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 huge. A lot of people say, hey, is that too big? It's gonna drag on the floor. I don't have any issue with it, guys. You just fold it up into quarters as needed and use it that way. But for a large vehicle like this, it's unreal because I'm able to just toss it over the top, drag it across, and dry. So I'm getting this whole roof done just like that in 2 swipes. So super easy, and I'll keep working my way around. To go there, we'll go ahead and hit the windshield and then the hood. Just like that, windshield is done. I can't tell you guys how much I love this thing. For the hood, I just go across this way, right? Grab it at the sides, pull. We are dry. And then, like I said, I'm just gonna fold it in half now. Okay? Drape one part up and over the vehicle, and then get to work. You don't have to worry about it dragging on the floor. You just be careful around certain spots, and it works incredibly well. All right, guys, so I'm happy to say the vehicle is done. I added the new bumpers from Hook Road onto the truck, and I think it looks super, super cool. So I'm gonna show you guys that. One feature on the rear bumper is something I really, really like. And again, we'll go over that in a second. But the paint looks absolutely clean now. I will be polishing this out. So in the next video, as you can see, guys, the paint looks very, very, very clean. It's actually kind of brighter looking now than it was. It's looking fantastic. You see gloss is back. Hydrophobic properties are back. I'm still going to be doing a full polish on this though, just because I want to make sure everything's looking its best. It's been a while. And in order to polish the paint, I'm going to be using this guy here. This is one of the ones that was on sale for Amazon Prime Day. This is the Populo cordless 15 millimeter throw, 5-inch backing plate, dual action polisher. Really, really cool. It comes with the whole kit. It comes with a 4-amp-hour battery and everything else. So I will be doing a full review on this in the next video. I'm gonna use it on this, see how it handles the vibration, see how long the battery lasts, all that kind of good stuff. So stay tuned for that. Even, I think on Prime Day, it was 80 bucks, but even when it's not on sale, I think it's 100 bucks. So crazy, crazy value here. Is it professional grade? Getting into it, yeah, I think so. I mean, it feels good. The build quality looks good. Is it something that I personally would use every day in my business? No, but again, I've been detailing for almost 18 years or whatever. So if I was just getting started, this may be a great option if you're looking for a cordless polisher. But again, we'll find out. Now let's go ahead and go over the bumpers really quickly because they look fantastic. So here is the new front bumper, way more aggressive off-road style look. You can actually attach a winch to it. You can add more lights, but it's got the little LED lights on it and everything. So it looks really, really cool. You see the side profile. I think it just, the tire looks a little bit small to me now. So I may, because it cuts out all this extra clearance here, I may have more room to go a little bit bigger. Let's see here, guys. That doesn't line up perfectly. I can't remember if the other side did or not. Let's see. Much better. I guess I'll have to adjust that. Yeah, I'll have to adjust that. But let's go ahead and look at the rear bumper now, because this one has a feature that I really, really like. Obviously, it has all the lights. Has the LED lights there too, which is super nice. But on top of that, I now have steps in my bumper. So I really like that. If I need to access anything that's deeper into the
you know, just easier way to climb up onto the truck and then access anything that's on the roof if I ever have that going on. Obviously in here, now that's exposed, I need to clean all that stuff up in there. But really, really cool bumper kit from Hook Road. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll put a link down in the description for you so you can check them out. They have a bunch of different options. And yeah, I couldn't be happier with it.
All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. Again, full decontamination wash process. Initial foam, contact wash. You can actually do that in 2 stages too. Because I used restart wash, I just went straight into a contact wash. But you could go something like active foam from Kokemi or super foam, something that's a higher alkaline product. Spray that on there, let it dwell, then rinse that off, then go in for the rest of it like I did. So foam, contact wash, iron remover, then clay. Your paint's all decontaminated. You can get to the next steps, which is polishing. Like I said, we'll be doing that in the next video and testing out this guy. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we will see you on the next one.